Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you the power of reflection and some different examples and ways that you can look back and reflect in a positive way that serves you and really helps you to understand and be aware of where you are, accept and understand where we are on this journey, and also have that level of consciousness about yourself to know how you can improve, know what you can do perhaps better the next month. But first of all, I would like to ask you for some help. Warriors, or anybody that is seeing this video. I made a commitment this year to doing daily YouTube videos. And for the past couple of days, I've been away in London, got to see our amazing truth warrior, Louise, and we also had some incredible business meetings, and we have a very, very exciting collaboration coming up, which we'll share more about soon. However, I thought that I had scheduled my YouTube while I was away, and in fact, I completely had not put any date in, and it was set as a locked and private video. So of course, they didn't go up. Now, what I also understand is I could have checked. I could have looked at my channel. There were so many different possibilities and ways that I could still have achieved those daily videos. However, here we are, and unfortunately the last 2 days didn't go up. So what can I do about this? I need to understand that I've gone against my commitment. I made a commitment to myself and to the people that I'm looking to serve to do those daily videos, and I've missed them. So I need to understand not to beat myself up about it, not to punish myself, to understand that for me that wasn't acceptable by my standards. However, how am I going to move forwards? How am I going to amend this? So I thought it might be quite fun to ask you guys to give me a forfeit, a dare, an activity, something that I need to go and do and get on video and put up on the YouTube channel. And of course, it could be silly little things like you need to go twice daily for a week, you need to jump in the sea, you need to go and speak to 5 strangers, whatever you want it to be within reason. Let's start jumping in the comments box and saying, okay, how can I bring more value? How can I make a funny activity a way of anchoring that I broke a commitment, and this is how I'm going to hold my hands up and move forwards? Does that make sense? So I'd really appreciate your help on that. However, jumping back into reflection, I thought it kind of connected quite nicely because I needed to reflect on how that had been broken. So reflection, there's a really beautiful quote I like. The more reflective you are, the more effective you are. The more reflective you are, the more effective you are. Make sure that you write that down. Now, a lot of people don't actually take that time to reflect. And for some people, when they do think they're reflecting, they're actually just running over old situations and repeating them, perhaps not in the most proactive, positive way, but more in a way of beating yourself up or getting stressed or annoyed by what you've done in the past. And of course, that doesn't serve us. I could have got, and I have in the past, so upset and angry and frustrated with myself and beaten myself up. But how would that serve me? Would that change what had happened? No. And we cannot go back and press that switch. So whatever it is that's happened in your life, in your month, in your day, depending on when you're doing your reflection, you need to look at it and understand it for exactly what it is. Be honest about it. Get real with yourself about it. But then say, okay, what did I learn? And how can I move forwards? So it's about going through these different areas of questions. A very easy, basic way of reflection is almost like that feedback sandwich to yourself. So first of all, what went well? What was good? What did you achieve? A lot of people don't take the time to actually praise the steps that they have taken, no matter how small or big those steps are. It's personal for you. But do you take the time to actually acknowledge, wow, I did this, I did that, it went really well, I made my bed every morning, I did exercise, I did meditation, I secured a new business deal, I got a new client, I got a promotion, I just worked really hard and really well and brought value to my job, I went and had a beautiful time with my friend and was able to be present for her in that whole moment when she was going through something difficult. What's the win? What's it for you? And of course, the more that these wins and achievements are in line with what you're looking to achieve and what you're creating for your journey or your path ahead, then even more important to really praise and acknowledge those moments. Not only does it feel good, it feels really nice. And that doesn't mean staying in a state of success for ages and just celebration, but acknowledge what went well, because you are also reprogramming yourself that these behaviors work for you. So even more than that, we're actually reprogramming a chemical state. So this wiring, this circuit is much more likely to fire off the neuron pathways that serve you in a way that benefits you and keeps you repeating those behaviors. So out of this quicker reflection way, the feedback sandwich, it's important to what went well, what did I achieve, what was good, and then take a moment to share that. And then of course, what can I improve on? What were my challenges this month? What didn't go quite so well that I'm not going to beat myself up for? I'm going to acknowledge it, and then I'm going to understand what did I learn from that and how can I improve it moving forwards? What did I learn from this and how can I improve it moving forwards? And then last but not least, to just finish on that positive note again. What can I be grateful for this month? What went well? What can I be proud of about myself? Again, so it's that positive, sort of not so negative, but just honest, real, I could improve in these areas. And then last but not least, what are you grateful for? What are you proud of? So that is a mini way of looking at reflection. And depending on what time of year, if you're doing it at the end of the day, at the end of the month, which obviously is what this video is all about, but I don't recommend reflection as just a one-off thing at the end of each month, end of each year, end of each month, end of each day. Sometimes during the day, if there's a relevant moment, that you can just have a moment of reflection and understanding, because we start to understand ourselves so much better by going through this process in a proactive, positive way that serves us, not in a way that starts making us have a little bit of self-pity or doubt or wonder. Not about punishing yourself, just about really getting real. And the more you know yourself, the more you know your mind, the more you know how you behave and why you do things and what you can do to improve that. Do you think that you're much more likely to, of course, be able to create and master your life by design? Self-awareness allows us to become a better version of ourselves in order to attract and bring back in what we want in this lifetime. There's a beautiful, beautiful quote that says, it is not about the goal. It's not about what you want. It's about who you become in order to have what you want. So reflection is a really, really powerful process and helps you taking action. Now, in a group that we have, the Warriors, I know there's a few of us that have the Law of Attraction planners. We're going to actually have our own Warrior ones coming out next year. But if you haven't, if you've got some other diary, or even if you don't have a specific sort of yearly diary, then get yourself maybe a journaling pad. And what I really like about this one, this is for us to do today, it takes you through a much more detailed level of reflection. So I'm just going to read out a couple of the examples because I really, really love and resonate with the questions that they ask here. And if you are honest with yourself and true to yourself when you go through this process, you truly do start to take much more aligned action. You start to live from a much happier, more confident place. The more we understand ourselves, the more that we can trust ourselves and what we do. And it's not about getting to a place where we think, I'm so amazing, I'm invincible, I'm perfect. Because we know that perfection perfection does not exist. So it's all about that progression. It's always about being a student for life and always be open to growing, however, developing that strength within yourself to really keep taking that action and be proud of exactly where you are right now. So some of those questions and examples were, celebrate my top 10 achievements. So what were the wins of that month? What did I learn this month? What were my distractions? So what perhaps helped you procrastinate a little bit more than you usually do? What limiting beliefs showed up, or what fears showed up when you were going to take action? How did you make yourself feel good? Did you take time for you? There's that analogy about when you're on a plane and there starts to have turbulence, or you're about to go into an accident, touch wood and send love to everybody in the world right now. But if you are, they say you put the oxygen mask on yourself first So then you are able to help others. You are no good to anybody if you don't take care of yourself. But so many of us think about that only in those moments when somebody's literally sharing that in front of our face, or you're put in a situation where you need to choose yourself to be able to help others. But think about that in your day-to-day life. If you are topped up, if you feel good, if you love yourself, if you feel strong, if you feel confident, if you feel proud of who you are, but also open and willing for growth, do you think that you will be better serving friends, family, communities, businesses, customers, clients? If you are at your peak, if you are strong, powerful, and so loved within, do you think that you will be able to give it externally more? More often than not, it's when we feel stressed, when we get frustrated, when we get angry, when we're worrying about something. Those are those moments where we snap, where arguments happen, where communication isn't as powerful or effective as it could be in those moments. So we need to make sure that we look after ourselves and have that baseline of contentment and peace and love from within to be able to bring that externally as well. So how did I make myself feel good? What are some ways that you looked after yourself? What did not happen? That's an interesting way to word it. What did not happen? So what actions had you planned to take, perhaps? Or maybe it was a meeting, or maybe it was an interview. So what happened and you had maybe expected it to go a different way, or there were some actions that you were going to take that perhaps you either decided not to or you didn't for some reason. I think I'm blamed to, I've got to hold my hands up on this one on this video, haven't I? So why didn't it happen? Get real with yourself. Was it excuses were created? Were you not properly organized? Did you allow distraction to take over? Or did you genuinely choose, actually, I've seen a different path, I've seen a different option, I've seen a different way that I can do something, so I chose not to do it. Does that make sense? So it's about understanding why those actions weren't taken, or why what you expected to happen didn't, but understanding why it didn't in an honest, real way with yourself. What are some of the greatest insights that I've gained over the last month? What were some of the most beautiful lessons? What have you taken from the Warriors group? What are some nuggets of information that you can take from the entire month that you can embed into yourself to help you moving forwards and having a better life? How do I feel about my progress this month? How did I stay in the flow of allowing and enjoying the journey regardless of the outcome? So especially for those of you that were working together with the Warriors, and maybe for some people out there that were setting New Year's resolutions, I always speak about a lifestyle and a way of living rather than it being New Year's resolutions. But maybe for those of you that were working towards that, how did the last month go? Were you able to have that bigger goal, that bigger mission, that bigger picture, but then detach from it and be present in each day and each moment, and taking those aligned action and those steps towards creating the bigger outcome, but not feeling attached and needing it to happen in a certain way for yourself? Because you know a quote that I share all the time, we can't always control what happens to us, but we can always control how we respond. So we don't know. We have this ideal vision in our minds of how situations will go, how relationships will go, how jobs will go, how businesses will go, how our days will go, how the next hour will go. But the reality is we don't know, because of course there's a lot of people that are also doing exactly the same. There's Mother Nature that is very unpredictable. We cannot always control what happens to us, what other people are going to say, what other people are going to do, what happens on the roads. You cannot control everything. And that's a difficult thing to accept for some people. We cannot control everything, but we can choose and take charge of our response. We can take charge of ourselves in that. So how were you about staying in flow? How were you about taking each day as it comes, being able to adapt, being able to understand that this beautiful game of life will throw all sorts of balls, curve balls, happy balls, surprise balls, anger balls, whatever it might be. But how did you adapt? How did you stay in flow? And when any challenges did come up, were you able to flex and move forwards, understanding that there is always a solution for every problem? How much were you in flow in times that you enjoyed? Did you notice your vibration when you were in alignment? Did you notice how quickly everything showed up? Did you notice how you feel? Did you notice how your relationships benefited from you being in a happier state of mind, from you taking responsibility for your own state of mind and your own vibration, and understanding how by you being that ray of light, being that ray of sunshine, being the difference that you want to make out there, actually how that rippled on and had an effect in other areas too? Do you take that time to reflect and look at how you are day to day, being able to separate yourself off from what it is that you want in the future? What obstacles or fears did I encounter inside myself? What showed up that stopped you taking action? Maybe you were going to do some live videos and fear showed up. Perhaps a fear of judgment, what other people might think, perhaps making mistakes. Perhaps you were going to go to the gym every day, but you got scared about what other people might think, or being too out of breath, not being able to complete it. Maybe it was a new job interview, and perhaps it went slightly differently to you how you thought, and a fear or an obstacle came up and it wasn't what you expected to be in there. How did you respond? How did you move forwards? How did you bring that awareness to yourself to understand that it was a fear or limiting belief, and there is a way to move forwards in spite of those fears? And if anyone wants more information about that, we do a lot of work around limiting beliefs and fear. So if anyone does want a video more around then, just comment below, those of you that are watching this on YouTube. So what did I learn by watching I love this question. What did I learn from watching my emotional vibration daily? Now, whether or not you're spiritual or more scientific, logical, or it's all one, but listen to Joe Dispenza. He's an absolutely incredible man that bridges the gap beautifully. So whether or not I'm speaking to people that are more understanding of state of mind, your chemical state, what your reticular activating system is focusing on, and then for those of you that like the language more of what frequency am I on, what vibration am I on. Essentially, it's about being able to understand what mood you are in. How are you feeling in this situation? Because thoughts determine how we feel, which determine what action we take, which create our results. You've probably heard me sharing that before. Thoughts create our feelings, which determine our actions, which of course bring our results. So you need to be aware of how you are feeling. You need to be aware of your thoughts. You need to be aware of your emotional vibration. What frequency are you putting out there? If we think of it in terms of a radio frequency, you need to have it on a certain channel to be able to receive that music or that chat show or that radio station. And in the same way for you in your life, if you are on a certain frequency, you will notice that frequency is responded to in a different way. If you are feeling low, if you are feeling sad, notice how your day goes. If you are feeling, and you can choose this. Again, I know that's very difficult to understand at times, but warriors, we have been working through this process, especially on the 21-day challenges, about how we always, even when it doesn't feel like it, we always have the power to choose our thoughts. And by taking charge of that, by taking charge of your thoughts, you take charge of your life. How did I accept, let go, and move up on the emotional scale? Because again, let's understand that in this physical existence, we are going to feel all of those different emotions, but how were you able to move forwards from it? So let's imagine a situation happened that you didn't expect. Maybe it was an argument. Maybe a business partner did something behind your back. A situation happened that you did not have control of, and perhaps you didn't agree with it. How did you respond? How were you able to step into your truth, lead from love, and bring your values to that situation, not react with emotion, not feel like you needed to have your opinion heard, not needed to argue back? It's so many relationships that allow arguments to trickle on and on and on and on and on. But remember, we have no power over anybody else. It is not our responsibility to tell other people or to expect anything from anybody else. The only person that we can do that with is ourselves. That's why we speak about total responsibility within the warriors. Total responsibility for yourself. But what you will find when you do that, and when you go through these questions and you start to master your mind and master yourself, is actually everything else improves too. Those relationships, I love my mum with all of my heart. She's absolutely beautiful. She has unconditional love for me. She's always supported me. However, we've had a very sort of argumentative life. We're very two strong, opinionated women, and we used to bicker and argue a lot, and now we don't anymore. And I truly believe that one of the biggest reasons for that is because instead of me, when I found out all about this, choosing kindness and how you could control your thoughts and how you could master your mind and take care of any situation from within, I started to almost force that upon her. And I expected her to take on these teachings, take on these learnings. But I understand that it's not my responsibility for her or for anybody else, for you, for anybody else in your life. It's not our responsibility to tell them what to do or to expect anything from anybody else, or even from situations and circumstances in different environments. Take those expectations out and trade them for appreciations. Have a standard, have your values, have an individual internal roadmap for how and what you will accept from other people. Do not tolerate people not treating you very well. Do not tolerate if you're in a job perhaps that you really truly are not enjoying and you're not being valued, you're not being respected, and you're not happy there. If you ask yourself, do not tolerate that. There's a difference between making a very quick emotional judgment and then evaluating how you feel with that person, with that organization, in that relationship, in yourself, in your health, if you're getting honest within as well. There's all of these different expectations that we can put onto these different areas of our life, but it's about appreciating everything that we have and then creating first and foremost from within what it is that we want externally. And you'll find that as soon as you start to really do that for you, it will have an impact on the other areas of your life. It's really quite magical. And then the last one on here within this particular planner, and there's loads of different ones out there, loads of different styles of questions that you can ask. I just really wanted to give you a full version. So thank you very much to the Law of Attraction planners as well, because this is a really beautiful example. And I believe in learning it, living it, giving it. So this is the one that I'm going to be doing today. So I'm going to pass it on for you guys. And then last but not least, the question, which I think is really beautiful. Did I fully enjoy whatever I was doing this month? Was I really here, or did I just show up? With the warriors, we always talk about there's showing up and then there's showing up as a warrior. So don't just be in that space, be completely present in that space, be immersed in that space, be involved in the energy of that space, whether it's a group activity, whether it's a one-to-one conversation, whether it's with family, whether it's in work. Immerse yourself into the present moment and showing up as the best version you can in that moment. And the more and more beautiful present moments that we can create, the more beautiful days, the more beautiful weeks, months, years, and yada yada yada, the more beautiful life you will have. So that is it for today's video, all about reflection, understanding yourself, understanding your actions, understanding your behavior to be able to keep progressing, keep growing, and create that life by design that every single one of us would like. So that is it on today's video around the power of reflection, how it can support you, how it can help you, and some different examples and ways for you to be able to go and reflect. If you feel that this video could benefit anyone else, then please do give it the thumbs up or share it with your friends. And of course, if you are not already, then hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it for your daily notifications. Remember to give me my forfeit or my challenge, guys, for your daily notifications of inspiration, education, and motivation. And I'll see you on the next one.